Hi, I'm Natalie and welcome back to my Flosstube channel, Sew, Stitch, Sew, Nat. You can find me on Instagram, details are down in the box, but on Instagram I'm Sew, Stitch, Sew with the underscores. So this is Flosstube 3 and it is Friday the 28th of January 2022. I've got lots of things to talk about, so you might want to grab a cup of coffee or tea if that's your preference. I'm a coffee drinker in the morning and a tea drinker in the afternoon. So yeah, plenty to talk about. I've got the 24 hours of cross stitch that I jumped in on, finishes from the past, whips, new starts, plans, and quite a bit of haul. Sorry, that'll be at the end. So firstly, I'd like to thank all the new subscribers and the returning subscribers. It's nice to see the numbers going up, both here on YouTube and on Instagram. It's going to be a long video, sorry. So yes, I'd just like to say thank you to all of those. We had plans last weekend, which is why I wasn't going to do the 24 hours of cross stitch challenge, but those unfortunately changed, so I was able to join in, albeit not work on one project. I decided to try and get some finishes done out of the stuff I'd already started, and maybe a new one I just couldn't put down. So yeah, so there's a couple of finishes in there, which is nice to see the pile going down. And I've worked on a UFO, which is very near to finishing, but the light's not been great here the last couple of weeks. So although I've got a big bay window to the left, I've actually borrowed my husband's ring light, which is just below the camera. So hopefully the lighting is enough to get us through today. It's funny because when the sun comes around, it's so bright in here. You have to shut the curtains because it's too bright. So then I end up in half shadow and half not. But let's get on with the video. So 24 hours of cross stitch. I'd heard about this on and off since watching Flosstube. And looked into it and I was like, oh, it's 24 hours of marathon cross stitch. I'm not sure I can do that in one sitting, but there are now two teams. Team Sleep is more aligned with my way of thinking, which is do big chunks of stitching and have some rest and do some more, try and get it done over the 3 days. I did actually start at 4 o'clock on the Friday, and managed just over 22 hours in the end by Sunday. Yeah, I was tired, and as you know, I've got 2 children as well, so I had to take some time out with them as well and get some sleep and eat some food. So yeah, I definitely couldn't do it in one go. Although having said that, when I was younger, that wouldn't have bothered me. But these days, yeah. So the first thing I worked on was a freebie that came with Cross Stitcher magazine, and this is from February 2015. That's the cover of the magazine, and then this was the freebie. So it's a little owl scissor keep and then a little scissor fob. I kept this chart because I knew I wanted to stitch it, but I've got rid of a lot of magazines. I've still got quite a bit to get rid of, but when I got rid of it, it was before I knew about Facebook destashes. I did get rid of some of the bits on eBay, so I might do that again, I'm not sure. So yeah, I've got some more to get rid of, but anyway, so I decided to pick this up. I think I just wanted something simple that I could go backwards and forwards on, and not think about it too much. So So I started this since the last video, but finished it for Whip Go, for 24 hours cross stitch. So yeah, he's all finished. It just needs FFOing now. But you get the little bit to make the scissor fob, and the felt to go on the back as well. And then that just opens up as well. So I've got the instructions on how to make that. So hopefully there'll be a FFO in the not too distant future. The next thing, where I started and how long it took me, I'll flash those up on the screen. So the next thing I worked on was actually a UFO, one of my older whips. I think I said in my last video or in the whip parade that it's my oldest whip, but looking back at what I've got in there, I think it might not be the oldest one, but it's definitely up there. I did manage to find the anchor thread that I used originally within my stash, and I did also pull out the equivalent DMC, but I didn't need that in the end. So I've got a couple of hanging threads. So this is where this is at. So oops, making it harder for myself. That's better. So I'm trying to board as well as I like today. So yeah, it's interesting. So I'd done part of that. That was all back stitched, and all the brown around the mat, and all the black around the mouse was done. So literally it's just like little tiny markings, and I'm not sure how well it's showing up on camera, the difference between where it's been done and where it hasn't been done. But it does add another layer of detail, and it does need a thorough clean. But I thought I'd finish the stitching first, and then give it a good wash and see what it comes out like. So we'll take it from there. Not sure what I'm going to do with it afterwards. Whether I still give it to the person I was going to give it to, I'm not sure. But we'll see. We'll get it finished first, and then get it washed and see what it comes out like, and then decide how I want to finish it. I'll put a before picture and the timestamp for that, as well as how long I spent on that project. But so that was starting to go into the evening on the second day, and it was getting too dark to see the one pink from another pink and the beige from another beige. So I picked up another UFO, which is actually my son's sampler from when he was born. So yeah, I picked up this UFO, which is my son's sampler. So I've just covered up the name and the date. And this was an anchor kit that I'd bought. He has literally just turned 7, but it's a companion piece to his older brother's birth announcement and our wedding one. I'm going to get them all framed up using the same frame. Haven't decided where that's going yet. So yeah, that's definitely a future FFO, but pleased it's finished. All I had to do was take this board around, finish the bubbles, do some back stitching, and it was done. And all the dates and names and stuff was on there. So yeah, I'll pop a picture up of where this started and how long I spent on it again. So the next project that I picked up was Mary Needlework by Lindsay Stitches. I do love this and it's beautiful, but it's in timeout. And I'll tell you why in a second. So I finished out this flower here, and you did the white putting in and the dark grey, I can't remember what colour that is, but it's a Weeks one. Yeah, like I say, all the white lightning went in. I think I finished out that grey, which is the DMC. And then I'm not sure how well this will pick up on camera, but there's like a white lace, which is actually blanc. It changes around here by I think 1 or 2 stitches, which then when you get to this side, I realised that I was out, so I've got to take that all back out. I did pull out the brown, which are going to be the boots at the bottom, and that's when I realised it's just slightly different around here. So rather than it being a loop with a bit in the middle, it was just a loop, and it just threw me. So you can see I've still got a fair amount to go on this, and it's on a 32 count. It says Wygar, I think it's platinum. But yeah, absolutely love this. And that's Seafoam by Weeks. This was the one that got me into over dyes. I wasn't really interested in over dyes before, and then I saw this, so I'm just looking for the two differences. So yeah, so that's the Weeks one, and then this is the equivalent DMC, which is 3813, but that would have just been a very flat colour. It wouldn't have had that beautiful variegation that's in there. And the thing is with Lindsay Stitches is she will call for a mixture in her chart. She won't just use all over dyes. She'll put some DMC in there as well. So I've got 2 rings on the go, which is that one's all the over dyes, and then this one's all the DMC. I must admit the amount of Seafoam that's in there, I think is about 5 skeins. I could be wrong. So it's definitely one to bear in mind. I think at the time I got it, I was getting it from all over the place, but I've not really noticed any differences in batch colour. And I think with the variegation, I think it'd be hard to notice that anyway, unless it's quite strikingly different, and I don't think any of mine have been. So here's the before picture and the time stamp for Mary. And the next project I decided to work on was this Pokemon pattern, sorry, by Artful Embroidery for Kids Art. I found this a little bit tricky. The grid that's on it, although it's got the markings for 10, 20, 30, it's not a darker line, so it's hard to pick out when you're going across the line. So I've just, because it's a PDF, I've just started writing on their lines so I can count more easily. and I've also marked out the centre now. And the other thing I realised that was probably a good thing is I've started using pins just for counting and making sure things are in the right place, because the amount of frogging I've just done on this R is incredible. So yeah, so now we've got a little bit of green in, and a lot of blue to go. I can stitch on this in the evenings because it's an Ada, but it is a 20 count Ada, so it is a little bit more trickier. But I find I've got enough light to be able to do it at the minute. But whether I start to use some of the lighting tools I've got, I think might help me a little bit. So here is, there isn't really a before picture because it's a restart, but this is how long I spent on it, and then that was it then for Whipco. And this is now the Sunday evening. So I did enjoy it, would do it again. I think I've just got to bear in mind what's going on home wise, as to whether I can join in. I think there's one in April, July and October. October is a maybe. July I think might be a not. I'm not sure about April, so we'll just have to see when we get there. Right, FFOs from the past. I picked out a few things. Well, I say FFO, some of them are ones to finish actually. So the first thing I wanted to show, you might have seen it on my Instagram if you follow me on there. Oh, glare. So this is by Northern Expressions Needlework. You can see all the crystals that are in there, and this was stitched with DMC. I think it was 553. Rings a bell. And then yeah, some amethyst crystals. Oops, out the window. Amethyst crystals that I got off eBay, and then some tiny beads, like the Delicatessen ones. Sorry, this was a year ago now. So, but yeah, decided to get the box frame. This is actually from Amazon. I do have another one that I can use in an FFO as well. Not sure I'm going to do the other months, but we'll see. So yeah, really like that. Really like the colour, everything about it, and couldn't put it down. It was actually my birthday start, like I say, last year. So yeah. Next. So they're just next to me. So this was the first thing I picked up, and I think I mentioned it in my last video. It's this tiny Punch and Judy card, and I thought it was a freebie off a magazine, but now I'm not so sure. And it is on, I want to say, a 32 count even weave. And bearing in mind this is the first thing I picked up, it didn't get finished straight away. I couldn't work out what I was doing. And then this is the next thing I finished, but I think this was actually out of a magazine, but it's not got any details. So this is a 14 count 1/1, and like I say, I was just learning at that point. Yeah, not all the stitches go the same way. Apart from that, I think it looks pretty good. Back stitching's all in there. I can't tell if I've carried the thread, but I guess that's the advantage of it being on a darker card as well. And then while I was looking for Punch and Judy, I kept seeing a dimensions kit. I think it's dimensions. I was like, I really like that. I want to stitch that. I've already stitched it. So I think it's time for it to definitely get FFO'd. It's gorgeous, and it's on like a pale blue fabric. I can't remember when I stitched this, but it looks pretty neat. All the stitches are in the same direction. But yeah, so I'm going to get that measured up and see what frames I like. The French knots are a little bit dodgy in there, but they look a bit big. But yeah, love it. So yeah, I'll get a frame for that, and I'll show that once that's FFO'd. Next, finishes. More up-to-date finishes. So my first one is the finestradeltemposal, which Sewmesarah started, and it's a pattern by Crocette gogo. We have currently just stitched June, which is all these beautiful reds and strawberries, and looking forward to the sunflowers for July. I know Sarah's just finished hers. I have started watching her latest Flosstube, and I can't remember what number that is, but here is mine. Yeah, this is gorgeous. I loved all the colours in it. So yeah, it's another one to get FFO'd. I decided to use the same fabric for all of mine. I know you can follow the hashtag on Instagram and you see lots of different fabrics, and that chart is available on Esty. So the full year runs across 3 different patterns. So if you want to give it a go, pick one up. If it's not your cup of tea, you don't have to get the rest, or you can just get them all in one go. She hadn't released the September to December when I started, but I think that came out a month or 2 afterwards. But yeah, that's beautiful as well, and that is in my stash. So the next finish that I did is also Sewmesarah inspired. It was a little freebie she showed a while back. She made hers into a project bag. So I'm just looking around because the box that I want to put it on is off to the side, but I'll show it once I've fully finished it. I think, yes, it needs an iron, sorry. So this is a Teresa Kogut freebie that Sarah showed on her Flosstube. I think she did hers in like pinks and purples, but I chose, so this is all sulky apart from the needle, which is actually DMC. So I chose, so it's DMC 04 and then sulky 71340616 and 713411. So they're the 2. So yeah, really pleased with it. Love stitching with the sulky, and this is on Zweigart 25 count Lugana ivory cream. I've still got lots left over, for other projects. Right, next, whips. Oops. So the first thing I worked on, oops, probably wasn't. No, let me just take this out of the hoop. I suddenly seem to be moving away from stitching in hand and jumping back to the hoops, which is fine. I've always been a hoop girl. Can't get on very well with the Q-snaps, but I'm not sure if that's just because I've not got a branded Q-snap, or I just don't get on with them. So I finished out the dinosaur and the hippo, and then I came up and so this is the No Panic Bee cell, which finished in December by Clouds Factory. I can't remember what month I'm up to, but then I've done the gorilla and the crane, and then this is going to lead into month 8, which is a dolphin and a seal. I haven't got a cover picture to show you. If I find one, I'll pop it up. And they're just going to go into the gap here. But yeah, really pleased with it. Sun's claimed it, so I need to get it finished now. So that'll get finished into a frame. I might have to have a bit of fun with the getting it into a frame. I was a little bit off kilter when I started it, so that there's not much border at the bottom, like I showed you in the whip braid. But by the time I realised it was too late, but I knew that it was going to fit, but it was going to be tight. So the next thing I picked up was a Mother's Love style, which is What Remains is Love. And it sounds like this might be getting released this year at some point. If you watch Sewmesarah, she'll keep you up to date with that. So here is my progress. At the minute I'm only working on this a couple of days in the month. I think if I want to get it finished, I might have to pick it up a little bit more than that. So yeah, just been working on that house. Come across here, going up at the minute, so I'm going to travel up, I think. But yeah, here's my start, and that is on the called for weeks straw linen, with the silk pack that Traditional Stitches put together, which is absolutely gorgeous, and that's for Fibres to Die For. So yeah, you can tell I went all out on this. It's got the little fob as well. Unfortunately that's not available, but hopefully the chart will become available. It's such a beautiful piece, and I think a lot of you are stitching it in memory of someone that you love as well. You're welcome to come and join us if you've already got the chart. So it's hashtag A Mother's Love. So the next thing I picked up, which actually came out on Sunday, was the crystallised cell from Lakeside Needlecrafts here in the UK, and that's a PDF. So yeah, this is the one I've already finished. I've started work on this one. So here is where I'm up to on that. I think the colours are coming out across pretty well. It's pretty bright and intense, but it's gorgeous. And this is on Stone Cloud by Fabric Flair, and it's a 28 count even weave. So yeah, this is the think this is a top, but not all the way to the side. And then this has got a bit more to go over here. What I will say is I did find this a little bit tricky because of where the page markings are. So the page stops roughly around there and then cuts off on this side. So I'll make a certain amount of progress across to there, I think, get all this done and then finish this bit on the side. I know with the frosted pumpkins, when I did the Cozy Cafe sale, so they give you the whole layout, but then the block that was released that month, they'd literally, you could have it all on one page. You could see slightly below or to the side, or the top, as the case may be, so you could get your bearings as to where it needed to be, but you could see the chart on one page, which I found really useful. So I think that would be my feedback. But yeah, love it. This is actually the second sale I've done with Lakeside Needlecraft. The other one was not the Halloween piece in 2021, it was the 2022 one. So I've got a lot of finishes in my stash. So at some point it might be worth probably doing a separate video just to show you some of those big pieces, little pieces. Some are FFO'd, some are not. And then if I can, I might get my dad to take a picture of the big piece that's hanging up in his living room, which was the Millennium cross stitch, and I can't remember who it was by. But funny story, in my cross stitch journey at that point, didn't know not to cut off the excess fabric for framing, but they did a fantastic job of getting it framed right up to the hilt. So yeah, very thankful that they did such a great job. And if I've got a picture, I'll show you that. If I can find the chart picture, I will show you a picture of that too. But yeah, spent a lot of time on that, and I think I did that while I was at uni as well. So I've got a few pieces like that was some back in those days. So my first new start was Meditation Garden by Jan Hicks, which looks like that. And I'm using a mixture of the alternate DMC and some Weeks. So yeah, loving the bright colours, and there's definitely a bit of a rhythm, especially when you get into this border. Those squares are really nice to do, and then coming up into here as well. You can see I'm quite close on this one, but I knew I was going to be anyway. And this is a 25 count even weave. It's also a fabric flare. Where is it? Tell a lie, I think it's a Zweigart. I've lost my little sheet there, I wrote it down. Once I find it, I'll put it up on screen. But yeah, it's definitely a 25 count. And loving the colours. Sorry about this. Oops, one's going one way, one's going the other. So yeah, my plan is to keep travelling up and then go around, I think, and come back down the other side and then start working on the middle. And that's a gift from my mother-in-law. Right, so my other new start was a planned start, which was the Temperature Typography by Stitching Mummy. And I went for the varied colourway on 14 count white Ada. Pretty sure it's not as white cut, it's just something I pulled from my stash. So yeah, so that's what that looks like roughly, depending on your colours of where you are. So it's been cold. So yeah, that's January. I've not put yesterday's in there yet. In terms of temperatures, I've been jotting them down. It's yeah, that green represents 13 Celsius, and then the purple represents 0 degrees, and then basically apart from that it's been around mainly the 5s, 6s and 4s, which are all the blues. I think it's definitely feeling a bit warmer today, so maybe we might get up into another colour. I did have to get a couple of DMC threads for this that I was missing. So I wasn't sure if I was going to show it today, but luckily they came in and I put them in. One of them was the green and the purple, and then this really dark blue that I was missing. I wasn't feeling confident enough just to pull from stash to do that one. And that pattern's available on Etsy. Right, so next is plans, but it kind of links into haul a little bit because I've been kitting up some things. So the first thing I wanted to kit up, I think I mentioned it last time, was the Adventurer weights. And I wanted it on a blue fabric. I ordered a couple of pieces from Lakeside Needlecrafts here in the UK, and went with the Sea Spray Fabric Flare 32 count even weave. I'm not sure, it's getting blown out a little bit, but it's a blue and like a turquoisey green. Looks absolutely beautiful. The other thing I ordered was like a pale blue linen, and when I did the floss toss, it just made it look quite muted, and I wanted something that was a bit brighter and a bit, I won't say funner, but on her she's got quite a bright blue on there, and that blue that's the whale really just pop off it when I put them on. So yeah, you really can see that pop. I don't think there's nothing that won't work with it. I just didn't want to do white again. So yeah, so that is kitted up, ready for April start. So I'm going to join in the sale with EmmaXStitching. I'm not sure if Jane Lucy Stitches is going to do that as well. So yeah, looking forward to that. The other thing I wanted to kit up was my birthday start, ready for next month. Which is a Fabe Riley Designs owl hoop, and that's got beads, sequins, petite treasure braid. I can't source this at the minute in the UK, so if anyone knows anywhere or an alternative that I could use, it's a PB03 and 04, which are like a gold and silver. I do have some DMC metallic in my stash, and one or two Diamante DMC, but I've not used those yet. So yeah, so I was missing some of the threads and I needed the beads. I just hold this on. So I'm still waiting on another pack of beads and the sequins. So that's all the colours, and then these beautiful red beads, and then I also got one of the flex brown hoops as well for that all to go on when it's finished. In terms of the rest of the plans, Whip Go numbers got released yesterday, so mine are, so 17 is Stitch on a Biscornu by Tiny Modernist, so I've got 3 or 4 PDF patterns, so I'm going to pick one of those, and the other one is number 5, which is to work on my husband's Christmas stocking, so I'm going to get the frame back out for that, and get it clipped on and take it one step at a time. Did feel like I made a bit more progress before Christmas, so the setup was working a bit better for me. So yeah, just got to get that back out and get on with it. So that will be February's Whip Go. And then in terms of other plans, I was thinking about doing the March Madness that Still City Stitchers do each year. They haven't posted about it on for this year yet because they're busy with the retreat, which is great. Love to go, can't go. So I'm sure there'll be a Flosstube about that at some point. I'm bubbling ideas away. A lot of it's, I think I've bought one pattern for it. The rest is from stash. So I'll talk about that closer to the time. Next video is probably going to be, I think it might be either 2 or 3 weeks, so keep an eye out. Always subscribe, and if you hit the bell it'll tell you when I've posted. I know I was planning to do this actually next week or the week after, but I realised I had so much stuff to show. I thought I'm just going to jump on and show you everything that I've done, what I've been working on, my plans. So yeah, just trying to figure out frequency at the minute. So the next bit is haul. If you want to stick around for it, great. If you want to leave here, that's fine. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Right, haul. So I decided to kit up hands-on design Let's Talk Stitching. I got this around Christmas time. Absolutely love it. Not been drawn to the other chalkboards. I kind of like it, but not enough to stitch it. But when I saw this, I was like, yeah, I want that. So I picked out a couple of different fabrics. And I mainly got these as an alternative to black, because I was having fun stitching on black. The Darth Vader, which you've not seen, is on a black, and and I think that's on a 28 count even weave, if I remember rightly. I'll have to show you at some point. So I've got a Permin black chalkboard in a 32 count linen, and that was from Patchwork Rabbit, and then a 32 count charcoal Murano, which is from Lakeside Needlecrafts. As I say, I haven't chosen which one I'm going to do it on yet. If I just show you what the colours look like on there. Can't quite get them all on the same. So I think one piece is slightly bigger than the other, so I think that might be the deciding factor. If I decide I want to stitch everything. I know I definitely want to do the project bag. I kind of like the idea of doing this little hoop finish, and she's got a tutorial on her channel for that. So yeah, we'll see. So yeah, this is kitted up now. I've actually got a plan as to when I'm going to start it. I need to get some other things done first before I can think about that. I think it might take me a while to stitch that one up. And it is something for me, but then I've got quite a few other things that are for me. So I think I want to get the number of whips I've got down, which is why I've been looking at the older stuff, trying to get that done. Next bit of haul I have is my thread clubs. Oops. From Lakeside Linen. So this is once a month. If you send you a PayPal invoice, pay it, and it gets shipped normally a couple of weeks from there. So these are mainly the bees, I think. Yeah, they're all bees. Oop. Right, I've managed to put them back. I know what I'm going to be doing before my next Flosstube, because this is just a bit of foam board. It's not got any batting or anything on it, so literally they just all slid off. So yeah, this is all the bees that we got this month. And the one I want to highlight is actually the Bejeweled, which is this rich turquoise, dark green, like emerald colour. Actually, I'd say it's more emerald than turquoise, but yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And so I'm up to like all the 8s, and then she sends you one variegated with the DMC, and I can't see it, there it is. So I'll just do a quick one of that. I think I might tilt the camera next time a little bit as well. So yeah, it's one of the variegated greens, and that is 94, and then the rest are the 800 range. I think next month I'm in, well, I've just paid my invoice already, I've not had them yet, so next month will be the 900, most of the 900s I think. That's the fabric of, I've also signed up for the Fabric of the Month Club. She's going to start doing that monthly now, and it's an opalescent one. I really like the opalescent. I've stitched something on it before, but not the overdyed or printed opalescents that you can get. So I'm looking forward to that. I think a lot of my stuff that I've got in stash is 32 count, and it's like a flat colour rather than a patterned colour. So yeah, looking forward to that. The next thing, I got this a while ago. I think it was on order when I did the last Flosstube, but it wasn't here yet, which is the Untitled Goose Game Goose Needle Minder. Now my son was playing this a lot, but since has stopped, but it's quite good fun, being a mischievous goose, getting the farmer to fall over and taking his picnic. And that's on the Switch if you're interested. I don't play on the Switch unless I'm playing with the boys. Same with that PlayStation as well, so I don't play on that unless it's with somebody else. I typically don't. I used to, when I was a lot younger, I had a Sega Master System, absolutely loved it, loved Sonic, completed it. But yeah, going back to it now, I'm just like, there's too many controls to worry about. It's, you know, you're walking around trying to do something, you've got to hit like different combinations and there's more buttons, and yeah, give me my stitching. So I showed you this pattern last time, which is the Wild Styra Snaps. G is for Gingerbread Man. So I've managed to pick up the enamel buttons that go on there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about the ribbon yet, and I've just put in an order for some floss for the actual gingerbread man, because this might, I think this is going to form part of my plans for the March Madness, which I will tell you about next time. I think I'm just going to pull, I think I've decided on the fabric that I'm going to pull from the stash for that one as well. So yeah. Next is Twinkle. I was keep looking at Claire Brown X-Stitch on Instagram. I decided to get like a little sample. So she does like a random grab bag, and I think I went for the 16 count Ada. So these are the fabrics she sent me. So you've got like the stars, and that's big multicoloured. That better. It's looking a bit paler than it is in real life. It is quite pale. Not sure what I'm going to stitch on there yet. And then this screams sort of autumn to me. Now that is blowing out. It's a lot more oranger than that. And then the last one is like this army type print. If anyone's got any ideas what I could stitch on that, I think I'm going to struggle. I've not got any inspiration at all for that one at the minute. Whereas the other two, I think I could find something quite easily. So yeah, if anyone's got any ideas, just pop them in the comments box below. Yeah, so as part of my last order to Lakeside, this was the other linen I was talking about. And it is that really pale blue, and it's not like a bright blue either. So yeah, I decided to use the fabric flare, and then I got some Country Vintage Mocha Zweigart on 36 count. Normally I hang around on the 32 count, but since stitching the What Remains Is Love, which is actually on 36 count, I thought I'm gonna venture out and see if I like it. I also got a couple of other little bits. Like I said, I got another one of the blue, the Bejeweled, my classic Colourworks, and then just a couple of things that have been on my list. Oops, I'll show that one in a minute. So yeah, this is I think it's called Cupcake, and then this is just all the same. It's the DMC 115, oops, which is a variegated red, but it goes from like a light Christmas red to like a really deep wine coloured red. And if you didn't know, red's my favourite colour, but I'm also quite drawn to like the turquoise, the emeralds and the greens, and purple apparently. Yeah. I also picked up this, which is going to form part of my March Madness plans, I think. So that is that. Next, I might have been on eBay looking at some vintage stuff. So I picked up this kit. I keep looking at the hard hanger stuff, and it's got Sophie Lavender sachet hard hanger embroidery kit, but it's actually cross stitches there, and it comes with bits. I must admit, I keep looking at that thinking, is that going to be enough? Sorry, glare. Is that going to be enough? But I haven't opened it yet. So that gets started at some point. And I think you might end up doing that yourself, the trim that's on there, because you've got a full skein there. So yeah, interested to see how that works out. No plans to start it at the minute. Oops. You might be able to tell I've gone a bit crazy with the mill. I picked up that one, which is the candy canes and beads and buttons. Ooh. Halloween night, and they're full kits. Both were on eBay. I just found it, watched it, and then put what my bid would be, probably a couple of minutes before the end, my maximum bid. No, neither of those went to the full what I would bid. So yeah, managed to get those. Been watching Roguemamastitcher, or Stitcher, Amber, and looking at all her beautiful stockings inspired me. I've finished the stocking for myself, but it's not FFO'd. I've shown you the kids' stockings, which they need a little bit of work. They need a bit of TLC because some of it's starting to fray a little bit. So I need to get my FFOing skills back up to speed. And then I've got my husband's that I need to work on for WhipGo next month as well. But I picked out, this Dimensions kit for my mother-in-law. So yeah, I'll get that stitched up at some point. That's at eBay. This one, which is it says Dimensions, but I'm questioning it. That says 2001 on the back, and that says 2020. So I don't know if that's old and that's new. But it does look like a full Dimensions kit. It's got the board that you normally have. Yeah, and that's the owl one, which I'm going to make for my dad. And then the last one is the Father Christmas. Oops. Also another Dimensions. Yeah, and when I opened it, the envelope, I must have clipped the top, so this is actually open now. But yeah, looking forward to stitching that. Oh, sorry, but I do like the stockings, and I do like them something a bit different each time, I think, as well. I think if I stitched the same one, it wouldn't be as interesting. and looking at them, they all go the same way. Yeah, I think I might have to restitch one of them at some point if I've got quite a few hanging up and one of them is the wrong way around. That I think that would drive everybody a little bit nuts in our house. So yeah, there might be a plan in the future about that. And then I think I've got a couple more things. Yeah. This is back in the hard hanger stuff again. So I picked up this, which is Friends and Treasures sampler, and it's the Victoria sampler company. So that is a sampler, sachet and scissor fob set. Which I don't think you can see because this is sort of just covering it up slightly. That's that there. So yeah, I don't know. This has got copyright 2002. Australia. So yeah, so like I say, another hard hanger style, and that was also from eBay. It's beautifully packaged. And that's from Northgate Needlecraft. I don't think the seller's name is that on eBay, but yeah, like I say, it was beautifully packaged, tissue paper, and then a bit of fabric tied round in a bow. When you get something, you're like, oh, what's that? But I ordered that over Christmas and New Year, but it only came in January. And then I've got some patterns. So I've been across to Peakside Needleworks here in the UK, and I got the Blackbird Designs Sewing Club book, and the last one that I was looking for, which was The Long and Winding Road in the Beatles Mystery Tour series. I actually got this because I thought it had a pattern in it, but it turns out that's in a different book. But I do like this book, so I'm going to definitely stitch a couple of things out of this. I find all their things beautiful. Whether it's completely my style, I'm not entirely sure, but I kind of seem to drift out of different styles. The other thing that I picked up was a wild violet stitch. I'll have to pop a picture up because the printer mangled it. So that is part of my plans for March Madness, and it literally, the blue fabric that I used for Autumn Lane Stitchery, Santa Claus is coming to town, I'm going to use, and then it's just 3DMC, white, black and number 1, which I've got in the stash, so looking forward to that. The other thing I signed up for was the book club, 16 book club, Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. This is a SAL, it's got limited numbers, and it's on the Etsy store. I think it's on the Mountain Craft, I can't remember. I'll put it below. Not kitted it up yet. I think I'm gonna wait and see what it looks like, but I'm really keen. I really like Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, so I think this will definitely get stitched up. I'm just not sure when at the minute. That's it. Sorry, there was a lot of haul. Like I said, I'm trying to get rid of some of my older stuff, but I want to put stuff in the rotation that is something I really want to stitch and enjoy, and that's part of my thought process. Sorry, lights going in and out as a truck goes past. I live in a very quiet road, so you don't really get trucks going past because there's no way for them to get out. But there's a lot of people redeveloping their houses at the minute, so we get the big trucks sometimes. So yeah, guys, that's it for today. Sorry, the other half came in and offered me a cup of tea. Yeah, so I think next video will be 2 or 3 weeks, just depending on schedules and how much I've got to show. If you are interested in seeing some of my previous finishes, although not all FFO'd, let me know. I've got probably 10-15 things kitted. If you're interested in that, I could maybe include it in a future Flosstube or have it as an extra. Let me know what you think, and if you stuck with me this long, thank you very much. That's it. Stay happy, stay stitching.